Great job
Well,
doing that.
let's do like a proper intro, so we can get CJ in here. Let's go like
Got you.
let's go. Thanks CJ for coming on the Riding the Bus podcast. We appreciate it. We are here with CJ Beatty, who is a former St. Louis Cardinal and a White Sox, Chicago White Sox. He's now he wears many hats. He's a motivational speaker. He's an author. He's a music artist. He has his own podcast called The Loop Zone. And we are here with CJ Beatty. CJ, thank you.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on, man.
That's why we have Bennett do the intros and not me.
Bennett was like, "Hey, I love your enthusiasm, D, but listen,
Right. Let's
You
slow.
gotta,
Let's
have a
some
proper
structure
starting
here.
point. Yeah.
right. We get
Structure
people
here,
have to
bro.
people have to know who you are. No, you're right.
Right.
You're right. Okay, so let's talk about what kind of what you've been up to with the baseball motivator, the softball motivator. What's kind of what's been taking up your time these days?
like we always joke about what hasn't been taking up my time. I'm one of those people that like when I see something that I want, I'm gonna go get it, and I'm gonna have to fail at it miserably, like thousands of times before I pretty much say, all right, I can't do this.
Mm,
But I just want to help people. That's my goal in life, is to help as many people as possible. Gather as much information that I can, just so I can, be more proficient when it comes to getting the quality information to the right people. So
mm.
I'm just I'm loving life right now, man. Got a chance to say I work for myself, and God's will, I'll never have to work for anybody else the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's been beautiful.
It's
It's been a
awesome.
roller coaster, but it's great.
Yeah,
Fuck
I
yeah.
would love to hear that, man.
That got me fired up. I'm fucking ready to go.
All day, baby, all day.
hmm
But it hasn't been. I mean, it hasn't been easy, and that's the one thing that I want people to understand. The life of an entrepreneur is tough. You're gonna lose a lot of friends and family members with this lifestyle, because it's getting, first of all, you got to get yourself to believe in something that it can't see, and that's your dreams. Of course you'll be able to see it in your dreams, but in reality, in its physical equivalent, it's going to take some time. Sometimes it might take a decade to get to your first dream. um, but you got to be willing to stay in that fight. But along the way, a lot of people might lose patience with you because they can't physically see what you saw in your dream. And I tell people all the time, stop getting pissed off at people that can't understand your dreams when you're the one that freaking had it,
Right,
not
right.
them. So
Yeah,
why would you get upset when you share your dream with somebody that didn't see it?
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't
And
believe you
that's
don't
all. That's
believe
all
in
it
it.
is, right? They just don't see it.
They don't see it, because if they was in your dreams with you, they'll see it just as clear as you.
Right,
And they'll be like,
right.
"Oh shoot, I can see that. Yeah, let's do it." But
Yeah.
imagine talking to somebody saying, "Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna step away from baseball and become this motivational speaker and never work for anybody again, and work for myself." If
Yeah.
every time I said that at the beginning, people were like, "Yo, you crazy, man? What are you gonna do for this? What are you gonna do for money? How are they gonna pay you that type of money? What are they gonna do?" But I saw it, and I believed in it, and I'm living it.
You did, you did. I was telling Bennett, I remember like way back, it might have been like it might have been like our first spring training when you had I think it was cjbeatty.com up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it was like and the rest of us are just thinking like, what are we going to eat when we get to the field? You know what I'm saying? And but no, but like nobody, like I remember nobody really understood like what the point of having a website was.
Yeah, I mean
And it
I mean it was crazy. I mean it was crazy because countless times I mean I just think I'm just very thankful that my parents, helped me to get to this point, because it was a lot of people that I trusted that said, "Dude, what are you doing?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
mm,
why are you doing this? You're not getting any views. You're not getting you're gonna make millions from this? Like, you're gonna help how many people? It was discouraging a little bit, but that's why I do what I do, because I tell somebody, says I'm living proof that you can start from the bottom, but as long as your desire turns to a burning desire, Nobody can stop you. As long as you have God on your side, man, nobody can stop you, bro. I feel invincible out here as an entrepreneur because it's like if I want it, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't tell me I can't get it because I'm gonna get it, and then I'm gonna come back and talk to you for a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
me and D-Wash talk all. We were just having this conversation, but we talk a lot about where like anytime you have a dream or like no one's willing to believe in you until they actually see it. It's like no one's willing to believe in the idea of it. It's like, oh, you do it, then it's like, oh wow, I can't believe they actually did it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's why I tell people too if they ask for my advice, it's like if you believe in something, you have to just go for it essentially, and you can't worry about what other people think about it. And yeah, we talk about that idea a lot where people have to see it in order to like believe in. Like you tell someone, he was talking about, when you're in your clubhouse, and we were talking about because we've been teammates and other teammates where they've come up with ideas or whatnot, and I do notice that your natural reaction is to be like, oh, that's not going to work, or like that's kind of stupid, and then it's like, wait, but why wouldn't you be able to do that? Like every great idea, every great thing has been by somebody believing in themselves and just making it happen. So I think that's really cool.
I mean, literally, from the perspective, guys, of everything around you, somebody went past the no to make sure it happened.
Right.
From the mic that you're talking on to the chair that you're sitting in everything. Somebody went through it. We can't do that, or you can't do that. You can't afford that, or why are you going to throw that away to start doing that? Somebody had to push past the no for us to be where we are today. So I just said, look, I don't worry about the no's. I look for them because I know that when I get enough of them, the yes is right there.
I like what you said about how you're gonna have to fail miserably a lot to get you to stop pursuing something.
Yeah,
because that was kind of part of the conversation. Was like it's tough to see it when it doesn't exist, but also you have to understand that like the first thing you do isn't gonna be what you're envisioning. Like in the instance of like say this podcast, like and I think Bennett would agree we're still very much figuring things out along the way, but episode 1 wasn't the end goal of like what we hoped the podcast would be, but the point is that you have to take that first step, or else you're never going to get there if you don't do the terrible first one.
Yeah. Eric Thomas alluded to this one day, and my other mentor of mine, RIP to him, Jim Rohn, he's another guy that I really do look up to and listen to often on my audiobooks. He talks about picking. The problem is everybody should pick to be a millionaire, not because of what it can bring you physically, but what it will change inside of you mentally in the pursuit of it. So he talks about, set your goal to be a millionaire. If you don't have a goal, try to be a millionaire. But along the way, what that journey will bring you mentally is something far more than $1 million can bring you. And when I heard that, I was just like, oh shoot, then that's it. And what you just said, D-Wash, is definitely that. It's like your first episode. Just focus on being consistent, because along the way you're going to be hit with some information that you're going to say, that's dope. Let me try that. And then 2 episodes later, you might have CJ Beatty on, and he's like, yo, have you thought about this? Or what about this type of mindset? What about this type of planning or this organization? And you're like, let me apply that. So as you continue to apply things to the journey, then you'll start to see your analytics go up. You'll start to see your network change, and the types of people that you have on here will change. Your demographic probably will start to change, because now you're starting to appease to the corporate world, and you're starting to get leaders on here and things. It's all because you stay consistent, in the pursuit of your ultimate goal. So that's really what helped me bring my brands to life. It's when I was first starting out on YouTube with this dream, like literally from the mud, like didn't know what to do. The only thing that my mentors told me to do was just stay consistent no matter what. Yeah. So I'm looking at videos on YouTube that just have 30 views on it after 6 months, becoming discouraged. Like, is this what it's about, man? How much longer? How many more days I gotta sit here and look at these views go up every time I press refresh? I mean, that, you know what I'm saying? Like this can't be life of a motivational speaker. But I said I'm gonna run the recipe because it's a recipe for greatness. It's a recipe for success.
Mm.
And if it works for them, I'm gonna run the same damn recipe. I'm gonna say uh the same road that they took. I'm gonna take it too and see what happens. I'm gonna roll my dice. They said they computed this and inserted this into their calculator. I'm gonna do the same thing. If they said it took 30 hours, I'm gonna do 40 hours. If they said it took this, I'm gonna do that. And lo and behold, it's like, oh shoot, I'm turning into a success myself. Oh
Right.
shoot, I'm going from free speakings to 250 $250 for an hour. Oh shoot, I never would have thought I got to 500. Oh shoot, I never would have thought I got to a grand. Oh shoot, 2,500. Oh shoot, 5K. Oh shoot, and the numbers really does go up.
Mm.
But that's because I stayed in the fight. Even when it got ugly, even when I got knocked out, I woke up the next day, I regrouped, and now I'm here. Am I happy here? I'm cool, but I'm not content. That's why I
Mm.
got hey, that's why I got sticky notes everywhere with ideas.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? On who am I calling today? What am I trying to do? Got a podcast today. Excited about this podcast because I don't know what this could lead me to.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't know who could watch this for the first time and be like, yo, can we get you to come speak for 10 grand? Oh shoot, where'd you hear it? Podcast you was on with D. Washington Bennett.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It's all about networking. You know what I'm saying?
It's
I love that.
the process. We talk a ton about the process. And I mean, it's just like very similar to like the grind in baseball, where it's just
Hmm.
you can't poke your head up and try to look at where your stats are at each week. You just have to keep trying to get better, and then what do you know? It's starting to click.
Hmm.
I wanted to ask you, when you brought up like the sticky notes, was just like, it just seems like the more, I don't know, it's like the more you work, the more you realize how much work you have to do.
Hmm.
Would you
Yeah,
say you found that to be true? Like
yeah, but
the more you've
I
done, the
don't.
more you have to do.
Yeah, but I don't look at it. I don't look at this as work.
Mm,
It becomes a lifestyle.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like that. I don't work. I haven't worked in a while. You know, especially when it comes to my dreams. That ain't work. It's necessary. It's life. It's life for me.
mm.
You know, when I have to get on calls or meetings and things like that, that's not work. I don't feel like it's work. Work is when you're working for somebody else. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? That's work.
Yeah.
That's work. When you have to do it or you don't do it. Like this ain't work for me. You know,
I like that.
it doesn't feel like work because when you grind so much, when you become a grinder and it's really benefiting you holistically, and I'm not saying that work is not like, if I'm working for somebody else, like you can be a CEO working for somebody else, but your job because you're passionate about it and it makes you better, it makes people around you better, you feel a success. It doesn't feel like work when you're working within your passion.
Mm,
When you're working within your passion, it's not work. You're passionate beyond belief about this podcast, it's not work. You
Right.
know,
right.
it's not a bill that you got to pay for something that's a monthly subscription for the podcast. It's an investment.
Mm,
It's
mm-hmm.
not a bill, it's an investment. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I haven't worked in forever because anything that I get on is strategic. Like I'm on this year, I'm catching up with you, D, and I'm meeting you, Bennett, but it's strategic. Like what
Right.
I'm talking about, I'm pouring in because somebody's going to benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know who's going to hear this that can lead me to my next engagement.
Mm.
Yeah. Can you, CJ? Can you take me back, kind of the start of when you realized this is what you wanted to do? Is this before you got drafted? Is this going through the minor league process that this kind of all came about, or is this something you've known your entire life is what you wanted to get into?
Nah, man, I was actually I was speaking. I started speaking in 2009 when I got drafted because one of my goals was to be like King Griffey Jr. and Derek Jeter. King Griffey Jr. and Derek Jeter, they were always seen in the Sports Illustrated for kids growing up. There was always seen in those things going to elementary schools, going to grade schools, packing out the gymnasiums and just talking, throwing t-shirts, just having pep rallies. So I wanted to do the same thing in my community if I had the opportunity. I made that up in my mind around 8 or 9. I just want
Mm.
to be like them. I see them signing every kid's autograph. I want to sign every kid's autograph. So I became what my role models were to me. But when I was playing ball in Australia in the ABL, it was just one day. I was closing in. Here I am in independent baseball, um, approaching my 27th birthday, and I haven't got to the big leagues. And we know, as if you are out of affiliated ball, trying to get back to affiliated ball, and you start to hit that 26, 27, it's like, yo, you better
Yeah.
start lining up work or figuring out what you're gonna do, because this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? You can't
Yeah.
you can't live off of this anywhere between $1,500 to $2,500 a month. Not if you're trying to move on with your life. You ain't saving no money doing that. And the people that do it, they trust me. The people that continue to play, they just have things in place that allows them to, like staying at home with their parents, where they don't have to pay rent, so they can
Right.
continue to play. But if you got a kid, a nagging girlfriend, a fiance, a wife, that 1,500 to 2 grand ain't gonna do it. So as I started to think about those things in Australia, I got on FaceTime with my mother, and whenever we're asleep, United States is up, and whenever the United States is up, Brisbane is asleep. Australia is asleep. So it was one night on my twin bed in Australia. I FaceTime my mother, and I was just like, "Ma, like what's next?" Because I mean, I want to play baseball forever, but let's just be realistic. If I don't get the call that I need, I'm getting older. I need to be prepared. She said, "Well, what else are you good at?" And I was just like, to be honest with you, it's kind of a rhetorical question, because baseball's been my entire life. I didn't take my education serious in college because I knew I was gonna make millions one day. You know what I'm saying? Like I pushed all my chips in on the roulette table for baseball. You know what I'm saying? It's like putting your life on double zero on the roulette table.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I put everything that I was gonna make it to the major leagues on that. She said, "Well, surely there's got to be something else you're good at." And I thought for a little bit and thought for a little bit. And this was like around 2012 when we had this talk. Then that's when I said, "Well, Moss, here it is. People love to hear me speak. Like at the elementary schools that I go to and middle schools and stuff, they say that I'm a great speaker. But surely I can't make a living off of that. Because seriously, at that point in my life, I mean, who can just say I'm gonna call Tony Robbins or Eric Thomas and be like, yo, what's up, homie? Talk to me about motivational speaking."
Right.
No, I don't have those contacts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no contacts like that. So I just said, surely you can't make a living doing that. And my mom said, "You'll be surprised on what we pay this gentleman to come." She worked at the local paper. "We pay this gentleman every year to come talk to our leaders in a workshop, and we'll pay him this amount of money." I was like, "Well, you pay him what? To come talk to y'all for how long? 3 hours a day? 2 day workshop? And y'all pay him that?" I said, "Mom, all I gotta do is talk like 2 days a month and I'm good." I remember saying that. I remember telling my mom, I said, "Mom, if I could just get one of those workshops, one 2 day workshop a month, that's like 12 workshops in a year. I'm over here like, man, that's the life. I could just do whatever I want to do." So I was inspired then, because I mean, all jokes aside, seriously, I was like, if they're gonna pay me to do what I thought people did for free, then that's what I want to do.
Right.
I mean, they're gonna pay me to motivate people. I said, well, shoot, I want to be in that career, and that's really how it started. And when I came back in 2013, I started my company, Motivational Nuggets, and then that's where it all started.
Motivational Nuggets.
From the start, mom was super supportive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. From the start they were super supportive that I could do it alongside of chasing my dream, because I
Right.
did it. Like I didn't stop playing until 2015. So 2013, I had 2 years when I was growing my business while playing. Like on the road with my laptop shooting videos. Like if you go to my YouTube page, you see the grind video. The grind video that I did on my YouTube, that was obviously done with the Washington Wild Things in the Frontier League. Well, I was actually playing on that roster. It was just that when I should have been working, I was out there filming and watching pitchers do band work and doing things like that. Put it on YouTube, boom. I don't know how many, 300,000 views or something like that it has now. So that was what I did. It was like I didn't go out to bars when I started my company. When I got done, I had to get home and edit because I had a weekly video coming out, and things like that. So, but the minor leagues really did that grind. Minor leagues and independent baseball really did set the tone for that dog that's on the inside of me for success. So I'm
Yeah.
thankful for my minor league journey. It actually gave me, it was a positive outlet for me. It really did. It helped me to focus more. I mean, think about it. I didn't have any other outside. Look, it was either go chase girls or go edit a video, something positive. Of
Right.
course, I would love to go chase girls, but it usually doesn't end well. It's like the roulette table. You go out there, you know what you're gonna get with that.
Mm.
But it was cool for me because by me being an entrepreneur, um, in the latter part of my careers, that grew my brain.
Mm.
That had me hungry for personal development. That had me. I was on the bus reading books. I was looking up different types of things to do on your social media. Like I was literally becoming this book nerd while playing, and that helped. One thing, it helped separate itself. So when the game was over, I became an entrepreneur.
Right.
And when I was done doing entrepreneur, then so it gave me an outlet instead of me just swimming in my thoughts, all day. Like if I have a bad game, I'm swimming in it. I'm talking about it all the time. Nah, dude, once I had a bad game, it was like, let me go home and edit. And then while I'm editing, I'm over here listening to Gucci, editing. It just gives me an outlet. It's like so much bigger than just, it's good and healthy to walk away from your sport
Right.
sometimes, because then once you hit that reset button, you come back hungrier and more clear. And I had the best time. I really had and that's why I got signed. That, remember, I got picked up by the White
Mhm.
Sox in
Mhm.
2014, ironically. I got released in 2011, and I've been 3 years, six different teams trying to get back. The year that I decided to dedicate myself to mental toughness and to grow my brain for my company and my sport, then that's what was attractive to the scout at that particular time. That said, like, we got to sign this guy. I mean, yeah, people be like, man, it's right place, right time. But I'm just thinking, like, from this, where I was when they signed me, I was in a much better place, and I'm glad they signed me then than they did than if they would have before then, because I just wasn't mentally ready for
Mm.
that. I wasn't mentally ready for that. Like I really had the best statistical time and no, best statistical seasons when I started to read more books and educate myself a lot more mentally. Got signed, and then when I went to spring training with the White Sox, like how you set a goal, but then you like pass that goal, and you're like, oh crap, I didn't even think I was gonna get here.
Right. Right.
Like I was just trying to bat, like look, like I'm being realistic. I said I'm in spring training. I don't know how many at bats I'm gonna get. I just want to bat. If I can bat over 300, maybe like a two, 2 or 3 bombs, something like that. Let them know that I'm here.
Mm.
Just do something like that. Like that's what I set for myself. Dude, I batted over 400. I batted over 400 in that spring training. Hit a home run off of Mike Leake.
Mm.
Took it, bro. I took it. That little buggy whip.
Yeah. Donkey
Ah!
hacks.
I hit him with that buggy with, the G-hack donkey swing. Took him over the fence. I was trotting around the bases like Dimitri Young. I was just doing everything crazy, bro. I was like, man, this is awesome. But I really do dedicate a lot of that success because I was in a healthy place. Like I was wanting cardio. That healthy place had me understanding that I needed to eat better. I needed to do this. That healthy place mentally allowed me to have an actual alarm clock to wake up every morning at a set time. Like I was more mentally prepared at that point, and that's when I was like, oh shoot, I wish I would have known what I know
Man,
now back
that's
in
what
the
I'm
day, because
saying.
I would have been a goddamn beast. Tell him, Bennett. I know, Bennett. I know you know the same thing, homie.
Absolutely. I wanted to say apologies to Mike Leake, who's a San Diego guy, for being thrown under the bus on this podcast.
Anytime a
Hey,
hitter drops your name as like a guy, I think if you drop somebody's name as a guy that you've hit a home run off of, that's respect, because that's we're
oh, for
proud that we
sure.
did it.
Oh, for sure. Definitely not dragging him under the bus. I was proud of it, one, because, it's a big leaguer, and I was the guy that was trying to get out of high A at the time. I got called up. It was a proud moment for me because I got called up. He was like coming back. No, he didn't want to go on the road that day. The big leaguer thing. I don't want to go on the road this day. I'm going to stay back in this AAA game. So that was the day that I got called up to the AAA because of they haven't had the downshift from the big leagues
Hmm.
yet. So they needed bodies, and they called me up there to play in the outfield that game. And they was like, "Oh shoot!" Everybody's like, "Oh, Mike Leake's about to start this game." I was like, "Oh shoot!" I'm about to take this boy deep. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to look. At the end of the day, if I strike out, he a big league. He's supposed to strike
House
me out.
money.
But if he did, hey, but if I do touch him, it's over. Man, he was carving up everybody, dude. Like he was, doing everything that Mike Lee do. Nothing flashy, but just
Everything's
damage.
going a different direction.
Everybody, yeah. I mean, it was just working the place just like that. I happened to get up there in a situation where he started me off with a changeup. Didn't chase it. It was a good pitch. I didn't chase it. 1-0, and then he tried to come with a two-seam backdoor, and it was a little up. It was a little up. 2-0. So I'm over here like, bro, all Mike had to do was throw anything other than a fastball, and I was going to screw myself in the ground. But I guess because he was down, it's a spring training game, he could give two craps right now. He's trying to get out the inning so he can go ice out and get out of here. He come with Mr. Fastball 2-0, and I'm like, BAM! Right off the hitter's eye. Right off the hitter's eye. Dang.
That's breakfast.
And I'm over here going around. I'm going around the bases like, heck yeah, I'm going to the league, bro. That's
I know they
league.
seen that.
Bro, I know they saw that, man. It's just a matter of time. I'm on the bus like, bro, I'm starting to AAA this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to just go ham.
With the White Sox, too, that's Charlotte.
2 weeks later. Yeah, we're going to start you back in high A, man. We're going to... we're gonna start you back in high A. I said, listen. And here's another thing too. Because I was such a veteran and grew my mind, and I was 27. You know what I'm saying? Older in the game. I said, listen. I told him just like look, the White Sox probably was like, man, he just plays so well. We can't let him go. But I know they was trying to let me go. Because I would sit in the talks, D-Watch. I'm telling you, I would sit in the talks with them just like this. Listen, this is not this. Y'all can't send me back to high A. I'm just telling y'all that right now. I can't. Come on. I said, listen, I'm 27. I'm almost older than the coach.
Right.
You can't. I said the oldest guy on the team is 23.
Right. Who am I gonna talk to?
What am I doing? Like, I mean, what am I doing? He said, yeah, we just, they fed me some. You hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You just froze for a little bit.
They fed me some stuff, about that, but I knew what it really was. What it really was is just they didn't expect me to play like I played in spring training. I was supposed to. The only reason I was in the White Sox organization is because Tim Anderson's hamstring gave out throughout the year, and they needed to find somebody, and they needed somebody for high A, Winston-Salem. And when they looked on the free agent market in the independent ball, they was like, "Oh, no joke, man! There's an outfielder from Winston-Salem. Let's bring him here." And that's what happened. Yeah. They sent me to my hometown. So shout out to Tim Anderson and his hamstring for having me on.
You talked about, it's so funny because everyone that's gone to the minors in spring training remembers facing the big leaguers that they faced.
Oh yeah.
And like just how you felt after getting that guy out, that experience, that feeling of, I'm going to the show. They have to send me to the show, and dude, they're not thinking that at all.
You don't even care if you get walked. You don't care if you get walked. You be like, "Oh, bro, I took that like a G." They gotta see that. They gotta see that.
Strike out. Be like, "Hey, that was a big league strikeout." I remember when I faced. Exactly, right? That wasn't bad. I foul tipped a couple. I remember when I faced Chris Sale. Right? Struck out massively. Like it was a bad strikeout. He had a slider. I swear he started it from behind the dugout, and it came all the way back. And then that's when I realized, I was like, yeah, that's why he's Chris Sale.
Yeah.
But that's a strikeout that I love to call out because they're like, who's the toughest guy you face? I said, Chris Sale. Yeah. And he let me know why he's there, and I'm not. I mean, that was ridiculous. That herky-jerky invert, and then come from over here.
I
would imagine.
Me with that.
I was just going to say, I just remember there would be those at-bats like early in like the GCL. When you just face somebody that's a little out of your depth at the moment. Like for me, like I remember specifically, it wasn't even like a big leaguer or nothing. It was just somebody with a nasty slider. I'd never seen a nasty slider before. And coming back, like I don't really gotta worry about that at bat. Like that's for the big league. Those big leaguers are supposed to hit those. That's not me.
Exactly. Be like, that ain't in my package right now. I'm still on rookie ball package.
Yeah, like I just ain't got that. but I will say I remember, if there was one thing that CJ didn't lack, in baseball, it was that desire to face the best people. That was always we would always get up for the big names.
Yeah, oh yeah, you know it. We'd be like, who pitching today? Oh shoot, they bringing Jaime. Jaime
Oh yeah,
Garcia's
yeah,
coming
we're gonna
back.
get Jaime.
Oh shoot, we gonna tear him. We gonna tear him up. He shouldn't have. Hey, we over there doing this right here, Bennett. Hey, he shouldn't have came down here today. We about to do him up, bro. Man, we gonna let him know what time it is.
Oh man,
I gotta be honest. Knowing my co-host like I know him, I have a tough time believing he was happy to see Jaime Garcia. From my knowledge of how much he hates hitting lefties, I really struggled.
Back then. Listen, back then, D-Wash was just the last guy you go to, and he would be like, "Yeah, man, for sure." I was like, "All right, then, D. All right, then."
Nah, D. Yeah, cause
I know exactly how he was feeling.
Come on, D.
Nah, yeah, because they be hyping themselves up and everything. I'm like, nah, but he does throw with his left hand. Like, like maybe y'all get this guy. I'll get the next one.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how we got through extended spring training, man. Was just those moments of like, oh, we about to show them what the Soul Patrol can do today.
I love that.
Bro, we were fools out there, Bennett. I'm telling you, boy, it was crazy.
I love that, man. Crazy. I love thinking back to that time, man. That time was so much fun. It's one of those things that only people that have done it and been through it can really understand. Like all the different emotions that go during that time. You go through so many ups and downs. Like you said, thinking back to those times of like how many times I faced like a big leaguer and had success and was like just feeling myself. And then you get that high, and then they humble you really quickly after that. Like I had so many times where I was like, I go into a season being like, I'm pretty sure I'm breaking with high A, and then would have success against a big league. I'm like, shoot, they gotta send me to double A at least now. And then it's like, no, you're going back to low A. Not only you're not even going to high A, you're not even going to a level higher. You're going to a level lower because we don't care.
And then you're looking at the rosters like this.
Right. I'm on here somewhere.
Hey, how is it that Miguel's over here in double A? How did Miguel get to double A?
You start picking apart those double A, triple A rosters.
Yeah, you start.
Yeah. You guys are trying to lose, man.
Ain't no way. Oh man, he must know somebody. I saw him strike out looking 5 times yesterday, and he got promoted. I don't know what to do.
That's so true. That's so true.
How much would you say, kind of swinging back to like the motivational speaking, like how much has that experience, from affiliate ball all the way through indie ball, all that time, like how much has that given you as far as like, what you can talk to the next generation about, what you can talk to young players about, the grind and stuff. Like you grinded so much. I feel like there's things that you can speak on that people don't learn in books.
Yeah. I'm so thankful. Because all the stories and what makes see, I'm not taking away from any other big time speaker. You know what I'm saying? And I hope and pray that I get the opportunity to continue to ascend to the top of the speaking ranks. But I'm thankful that for the journey. It took me a while because when you have your goal set on becoming a multimillionaire and have your name in lights and make a lot of money and help your family, and when it really doesn't happen that way, you get a little bitter and sour about it. And you question a lot of things. You question, was it me? Did I not go as hard, or did I get screwed? Did nobody give me an opportunity? I don't want to even look at a baseball. I don't want to even watch baseball. You get to those points. I think we all get to those points at a certain point to do that. But what really helped is to see from this perspective of on the side of the fence as a speaker, that it's hard for you to tell somebody how to continue to fight through something if you never fought for anything. Like what if I just would have continued? Like literally, I tell people, and I'm honest, like my road to getting drafted it was hard, but it wasn't, because I was blessed with a God-given talent, and I love to practice. You put that together, you got your draft pick.
Mm.
God-given talent, and he loves to practice. If I stay healthy, I'm gonna get drafted. So my life was bat three on every team growing up, make every team I tried out for, don't pay for any travel ball fees. So my life was like that. But what allows people to listen to me in my speakings is because the rug got pulled out from under me.
Mm.
So when I'm talking about life, when I'm talking about going to get that job, when I'm talking about starting as an entrepreneur, when I'm talking about being able to go to your family and say, this is it for me, but this is what I want to do because I dream it, and nobody believes you, like how to coach people through that. Like, my journey gave me this platform that I'm on right now.
Right.
And if it wasn't for the grind, the hardships, the I'm gonna go to Australia, because I went to Australia because I thought that was another shot of me getting to the big leagues. Because maybe if I go there and tear it up in that league, maybe somebody will notice notice my worth. Like, I kept chasing that ghost, but realistically, what I was doing was hardening my story.
Right.
I was hardening my story. You know what I'm saying? So I don't take anything from the grind. Sleeping on the training room tables in the independent ball, minor league stakes, being the PB and J's, trying to figure out how we're gonna pay dues, and all this kind of stuff. Like, I don't take away from those stories, but that's also a reason why people listen to me, because I'm not telling you from the mountaintop. I'm telling you along the side of the mountaintop, climbing it with you.
Right.
I like that. CJ, can I ask you, so you work predominantly with athletes, or specifically baseball and softball players, or all athletes?
No, primarily with them, but I also do corporate speaking engagements as well too.
Well, on the athletes, like, can you say with like the kids you work with, like, what you think the number one thing like this generation of kids is struggling with, and like how you kind of help them, or where you see like they need the most help almost when it comes like the mental toughness and mental side of sports?
Oh yeah. I'll tell you just like this. They're soft.
Okay.
They're soft.
Well, that's kind of what I was alluding to. I was seeing if maybe you had like a reason why or whatnot.
Nah. They're soft with a capital T.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say they're soft is because society, parenting, and the world has made the kids soft. It's and what I mean by that is this. Thank God I have a background in sports that I could talk this way on my travel ball team, because God forbid if I didn't have the right background, they're going to be like, oh my God, he's so negative. No, when I'm going to your son and I say, you need to stop crying, you need to get outside that house and go run and get cardio inside your life. Like, I'm telling him that because he needs to know. But these days, if I don't say it the right way, even though he needs to hear this, they're like, oh, we're going on another team where they're not going to talk to him that kind of way.
Right.
But see, the biggest thing that I encourage parents to understand is you got to be careful with coddling your children, because the one thing that's never going to coddle your child is life. I said, you don't live forever, mom and dad. When you're over and you continue to coddle, you're handicapping your kids. So that's why I communicate the way that I do, and they have to explain when I say kids these days are soft. It's because they don't fight for themselves, not with their fists. They don't fight with their minds. I tell the story about burning the ships and understanding a lot of kids and parents and people these days, they build so many safety nets that they never go 110% on an idea, just in the event that I might fail at it. But that type of energy is the reason why you'll never be a 2%er in this world.
Right.
You got to burn your ships. You got to be able to fight for yourself. Fighting is when your best friend tell you you're wasting your time on your dreams. Fighting is saying, you know what, either you can help me build it, or this is where you're done. That's fighting.
Yeah.
Because that's tough to be able to tell somebody that's real close to you, hey, listen, let's better our lives. But they don't want to, or they don't want to help you build, or they don't want to add value to you. Right. Fighting is you being able to say, well, you know what, this is where I'm going to have to let you go. That's a fight. Because it ain't easy. Kids these days are not built for the fight. That's what I mean by they're soft.
Because also, guess what happens in that situation when your friend feels that way and you do make it? They're going to be the first one there with their hand out, looking for help. So if they're not going to be there to help you, get there. No, I agree with you. You have to get those people out of your life, and
You have to.
and that's tough. That is tough.
I mean, it's tough, but that's why they say it's a fight. And
Right.
that's what I mean by kids these days are soft. Now, once I educate them, once they leave a speaking, from me, they're like, yo, they needed to hear this. So I'm like, yeah, I get it. Why do you think I know that? Because I needed to hear this.
Right.
Somebody talked to me the same way. Somebody talked to me in a way where I was like, bro, why does he own me so much like this? Like,
Right.
he ain't even on him like that, but he on me talking to me. I mean, I don't understand why he talking to me like this.
Someone that
But
offends
that
you with
coach,
their tone.
exactly. Like when they talk, they're like, "Yo, Beatty, you ain't no fighter. You don't really want it." I'm on here like, man, why you calling me out like this?
Yeah.
But then if you fast forward to today, that very coach is in the top 3 of my top coaches of all time
Right.
because he
No,
pushed
yeah.
me mentally. Like he strategically built and he strategically built me up to be a fighter mentally.
Right.
And I needed that type of motivation to get me to where I'm at.
A lot of kids or people in general don't realize that if the coach doesn't like you, he's just not even going to talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like, if by him talking to you and getting on you, it's because he truly wants to see you succeed and probably sees something in you that you're going to succeed. That's why he's doing what he's doing. When you play long enough, you realize when they stop talking to you, when the coaches stop talking to you, that's when you should worry.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
that means they want nothing to do with you.
Oh yeah.
It took me a while to realize that.
I definitely know what that is as a coach.
Right.
As a coach, I know that firsthand. There's a couple kids that I've coached before that I done pulled them to the side. I done told them mom and dad. I done tried this way, and I'm like, listen, if you feel like you already know what's going on and I can't coach it, then there ain't no point. Hey.
Right.
So now whenever he gets in the cage, I'm like, you ready? Here we go.
Right.
All right. Yep. Hey, stay through it. Oh, cool. All right. Next person. Here we go.
Yeah.
And it ain't it's no more like, hey man, come here for a second. Let's because we've been down this road, we've tried it, and he feels like he's on his own path. So whenever you get to that point, coach is just like.
Yeah.
But the ones that we really do believe in, those are the ones. Hey man, all right, dismiss everybody else. Hey Ricky, stay back real quick. I want to bring something up.
Right.
Hey Ricky, real quick, come here real quick. I see. They own you because they believe in something that you can't see right now.
Right.
And that kid, and the thing about it is, it's not even like, sometimes like kids can like just get on your nerves sometimes, but like for the most part, it's not even that you don't like the kid. It's just that like I'm like, we all here to practice, and I'm not gonna take up like the other kid's time that wants to like learn to try to speak to a brick wall. Like, no, I'm just get you, because like and also who's to say that kid doesn't know what he's doing, and it's like, oh, you got it, go ahead, go do your thing, and hopefully it works for you. But like, I'm not going to waste the time that I could be spending coaching somebody else, because you don't want to do it.
A lot of the time for me, it's not even the wasting the time part. The problem with me is we're so emotional. The good coaches are so emotional from the heart, from within, that it really ruffles our feathers whenever somebody doesn't want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
It really does bother you. It bothers you because you care so much. So and you're just tired of bringing that energy home, that you just check yourself out mentally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what happens. It's you care so much. You're just like, yo, I wish this kid would get it, but his attitude, it continues to just suck.
Yeah.
Like, he has so much potential, but he does not want to change his attitude. I've talked to his parent. I've talked to this. Every time he fails, he just sulks. He drags his head. It's contagious. It brings the team down. So it's once you've tried and tried and tried, and it's still this with the attitude, you just say like, hey, listen, when you're going through the season, you just, hey, 4 and out. Here we go. You get your 4 and out. All right, good job. All right, here we go. Next person. You just keep it moving.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the moment that you try it again, it brings you, because sometimes that brings yourself down. That's why it's important, to watch how many people you let in your circle. How many people, my circle's tight.
Yeah.
It's tight because negative energy is contagious. It's a disease.
Hmm.
And, it's contagious. If you let people around you that's negative, whether they're kids, teenagers, adults, it don't matter. If it's negative and it's around you, it's contagious. And
Yeah.
you got to be very protective of who you have around you.
Yeah. I know. Quick little story because I know D-Wash knows who this is. CJ, I don't know. Do you know who Tom Bernansky is? Remember the name Tom
Uh-uh.
Bernansky? He was an outfielder for the Twins for a little bit, but he grew up or his kids grew up where I grew up, and he was a coach of mine from like little league through high school, essentially. And he was always very tough on me, like always staying with. And I had a really shitty attitude when I was growing up, and it took me a long time to realize that he was doing that because he believed in me so much and because he cared so much, like about me succeeding. And for the longest time, I was like, I hated how hard he was on me and stuff like that. And as I got older, I was like, without the like, it really was such a big part of ultimately the baseball player I became because he stuck with that. And looking back, I was like, with how bad my attitude was, especially in the beginning, he probably should have stopped and just not even paid attention to me anymore. So that's what I try getting through to kids because, like you said, the thing that is so frustrating is the ones where they have all the potential and they have all the tools to make it, but it's like if you don't change this, I'm telling you, you can be as upset with me as you want, and you can go to another team if you want. This is going to stay with you wherever you go, and that no one is going. It's not going to get any better. And so, yeah, I struggle with that too. It's like, should I, like, how hard do you go now at this age, realizing that at some point you're going to have to deal with this? Because if you don't deal with it, then you're not going to like where things are going for you.
I had
Exactly.
I had an AAU basketball coach, like in high school, and he was this little short dude with with little man syndrome. Name was awesome dude. Name was Marshawn. He would tell you the same thing. He knows what's up. But like, the whole thing was like he would yell at you, and it didn't matter what it was. If you just said anything back, it was only gonna get worse. Like, it didn't matter how good of a point you had. If you just said anything back, he was just gonna get louder and it's gonna go longer, and you're gonna have to run more. So like eventually, you just started learning just to go, all right, yeah, yes, coach, yeah. And then it's funny like going into pro ball where like you see like some of these people get like they get like someone comes down on them, a coach something happens and the manager yells at them and they get all like and it's just like, oh, you never had a Marshawn. Like you never,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You
Exactly.
never had anyone just
Yeah, I mean,
just teach you how to just shut up
they've
and
been the
take
best
it.
player their whole lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They've been the best player their whole lives, so they've been coddled.
yeah.
They've always,
And
I like it. I was like, oh, you didn't play football. They'd be like, oh, you didn't play football, did
right.
you?
No.
If you would have played football growing up, I don't care how good you are. They'd be like, hey, son, what you, hey. That football talk, they yell just to yell.
just
Good play. Then they'd be like, good play. Now hit the hill. You'd be like, man, well, I just get hit the hill. Like, hey, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, CJ, I want to again say thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Before we go, I wanted to kind of get more into plugging all the stuff you got going on, where people can follow you, where people can kind of see what you're doing, all that stuff. I mean, I'll let you take that stuff.
Man, yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me on, guys. This is one of those conversations that could go for
yeah.
hours.
Right.
It really could.
That's why I hate that
But
my role is to stop them, but it isn't.
it's all good. It could be a part two later on for sure. But yeah, just cjbeatty.com is out there moving, running these streets. But go to cjbeatty.com to learn more about me. I have a book out, 18 Elements of Mental Toughness. I advise everybody and suggest everybody get it. It's a great read. I got a chance to get Curtis Grandison, my boy Curtis Grandison's on the front of the book with what he said about it.
nice.
Tony Regans, Willie McGee, Steve Springer, Anthony Iapose. I call him Iapose, but it's probably pronounced some other way. I just call him Ant. He's the hitting coach with the Cubs, and then T.C. Calhoun, pro scout. But I mean, it's great. It's a book that really does go into detail about my release. And how I bounced. It's like my story, the 18 elements that I learned through my childhood to get me to where I'm at. And that's why I call it the 18 elements of mental toughness, man. And it really does break it down with that. So But hey, still working on some music, working on some softball feel good music right now for my softball sisters out there. That's going to be dropping probably sometime in March next month. And they're ready for that. I'm doing a bunch of I'm dedicating the entire album for trap music. Like it's gonna be
Nice.
dope. Like I'm gonna have people, little sisters out there at 6 and 7 years old. You know, it's gonna be positive, it's
Right,
clean,
right.
but the beats are straight hood.
We're gonna
I
we're
mean,
gonna
I got a West Coast Crip beat on there. I got it all on there, dude.
we're gonna get it. We're gonna need to get the rights to that music then, so we can use it on our podcast.
Oh yeah, dude! I'm telling you, it is awesome. Because when it come on, you be like, "Oh shoot, you riding it?" You sitting there like, "Dang,
Yeah,
okay,
I like it.
hey, where OJ the Juice Man at?" All right then.
Oh man.
All right, well check out CJ Beatty on his Instagram. Seems like you have all the links there, right? If they want to get the book there, if they want to.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
whatever they wanna do.
Just go to cjbeatty.shop and it has everything there. But everything's on my website. And if you just want to hang with me on social media, go to CJ Beatty44 at CJ Beatty44 on Instagram and Twitter.
There you go. You should do it.
Sir.
You'd be an idiot not to. That's what I'll say
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
All right, appreciate it.
No worries, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
CJ.
having me.